you want to introduce?
You take it this time.
You want me to take it this time? All right, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Part.
Yeah, no, I am going to keep this part. Welcome to the Anomaly Talk Podcast, where we have extraordinary conversations with ordinary people. And by ordinary, I don't mean basic. Because we have somebody very special today. We've got George Nouri, right? Is it George Nouri or George El Nouri? Because
George Nouri.
Nouri, but
George
like the businesses are El Nouri, right?
No.
But they're not.
But, we do get that every now and then, the El Nouri.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I've heard that, or my mom's mentioned that.
I go with it.
It's like the Nouris, right? El Nouri?
Yeah, El Nouri is like the Nouris. Like we're going to go to El Nouri. We're going to go to the Nouris.
Yeah.
But
And like always, I've got my lovely host over here, Larry. What's up, Larry?
Hi, I'm lovely Larry.
You're lovely, Larry? Is that... We're not going to make that a thing. No, definitely
I'm
not.
lovely, Rami. Right?
Well, exactly, yeah.
He's making fun of me because I called him Rami earlier.
All right, George, why don't you give us a little introduction about yourself, and then we'll move on from there.
Right. Okay, so I'm George. I have a cafe in Paterson, New Jersey, Nouri Cafe. I started it 2 years ago with my father, actually. And about a year into it, I became the sole owner. And it's been a roller coaster, especially in the last year. But we've overcome a lot of things. And, slowly I'm becoming the kind of businessman that I want to be. So that's pretty much all I am. Yeah.
So you said it was a little bit of a roller coaster. I kind of want to hit this right away and get over this subject because I know we're sick of talking about COVID.
Yeah.
But as a business, obviously, you were affected by COVID.
Absolutely.
So first off, for the audience and for myself, Nouri is more than just a cafe. I know you guys have a couple of different businesses. Like there's a bakery and there's a market. Or
you got it right.
Yeah.
So first off, clear that up for me. What are the different branches?
Yeah, so we have a bakery, we have a jewelry store, we have a wedding center. We used to have gas stations. Mm-hmm. Typical Arab businesses that we open up gas stations, jewelry stores. Yeah. We went a little sideways here with the cafe, but that's all we do. Yeah, we pretty much cover everything.
Get yourself some gas, get yourself some food, and then get married.
It
makes sense.
Yeah, you got the engagement ring and you got the wedding center.
So now that we kind of know like the different branches of Nouri, what would you say out of those businesses got hit the hardest? How'd you guys kind of, handle that? I know all the retail and especially food and beverage industry got really, really hit bad.
Yeah, it was definitely a balancing act amongst all of our businesses. I would tell you our supermarket did very well, obviously, because people, no matter what, they got to eat. Whether it's a recession, a global pandemic, people got to eat. With the cafe, in the beginning, I'm not going to lie, it was very tough. But we quickly adapted into like a takeout business, catering service, doing deliveries, which you never done before. And we've done a lot of things that we're honestly going to keep doing after COVID because it ends up, ended up working better for us. Mm-hmm. In terms of the jewelry store, I can tell you that they've been doing well as well. It's been a good time. Gold has been going up. Mm-hmm. So, you guys know that. But it's been, honestly, in the beginning, it was very tough in terms of the hours I was putting in terms of the problem solving. But it made us better, actually. The business actually has done better because of, the pandemic. And we're more sensitive to what's going on in the world now because of it. So, yeah.
Interesting. And you mentioned that there are some things that you've learned from handling the pandemic as a business owner that you're actually going to continue to implement afterwards.
Right.
What is that? Give me an example of that.
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of delivery services, definitely want to keep doing that. We've
delivery services for what? For the market? For like the store?
For the cafe.
For the cafe. For the restaurant. And also for the store. We
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we did start delivering groceries, which was a big thing for people, especially in the beginning. We were doing curbside pickups for groceries. So, we're absolutely going to continue doing that as well. In terms of, for me personally, it's been like even the family packages, catering services, all these things, the whole business changed in March of 2020. And I don't see myself going back to how it was before, just because we're doing things a little more carefully now anyway. So we might as well just keep it that way,
That delivery idea sounds great because my mom makes me drive to Paterson.
No more.
No more.
We'll come to you. That's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, prior to the business, what was like kind of like your background, like school wise, like before even starting the cafe? What's some like background on that?
Yeah. So, before I started the cafe, before I started working in Paterson, even I was, so I got my degree at Rutgers, Newark, economics.
Represent Newark.
Represent. Yeah. We all know, that commuter life, right?
Yeah.
But, I did go, to New York City. I had a job in New York City. I was working at Merrill Lynch.
Yeah, that Larry was actually telling me about that
Yeah.
when we were getting to know you, and that kind of
Yeah, I was
struck
doing
me,
the
so-
banking thing for a little bit.
we're definitely gonna get into that, but
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah, so investment banking was a part of my life for 6 months, I'd say. I actually started working there during my senior year of college. So I didn't even have my degree yet, and they already hired me, which was kind of cool. I was like the youngest one in the office, but
That's awesome.
yeah, it's cool. But I quickly realized it wasn't for me. Like sitting at a desk for 9 hours, I was falling asleep by like 2. So I was like, I didn't last a long time there. But everyone loved me when I opened the cafe. Actually, the group I worked for, they came to the cafe. They booked our private party room. We had a little shindig, and that was cool. So I quickly learned that I'm not the kind of person to work in like a big corporation. I'm kind of a type A personality. I need to, be the one making the calls. So I quickly just switched off of that,
Do you stay close to the finances, like the finance world, or are you kind of like away from it?
Yeah, in the beginning I did. Once I left Merrill Lynch, I did for about a year, and then once I started the cafe, I had to take all my money out and put it and invest it in my business.
Yeah.
Which I don't regret at all, even though the second I did it shot up. But you know what?
You got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. It's an investment that I can control more because it's my business, rather than just relying on Elon Musk to make the right decisions. I can rely on myself to make the right decisions. So that's how I see it.
Everybody that's been on this podcast so far is a huge Tesla stock fan.
Oh my God, I love. Well, listen, I did start reinvesting again. I am in like a couple of those spaces, but nothing crazy. I'm more focused on my cafe.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you been following up with the GameStop like saga?
Oh my God, how insane is that? I mean, it's like it goes up like essentially $500 in like a week, and but. I guess it just, I don't know.
You have to like watch the hearing because there's no like funnier moment than just seeing some random dude from Reddit just in Congress.
Oh, so Wall Street Bets?
Yeah, well, this is one of the guys from Wall Street Bets. Yeah, well,
So
he's the one who started the saga.
So who is going to Congress? Who's testifying? Is it the people who Robinhood and these other platforms backed up and protected, or is it Wall Street Bets and that crew that's like
it's the
on
Reddit
the line?
guys actually.
It's the Reddit guys?
It's the CEO of Reddit, and then you have the guy, deep effing value.
Yeah.
Okay, the guy who started the whole GameStop finding to begin with. He saw the crazy short on GameStop, so he did his own analysis on GameStop like a year ago. So he's the one who started the whole craze, and then obviously the other like financial institutions that back Robinhood, and people thought to be the reason why Robinhood stopped the trading of GameStop, and you have the CEO of Robinhood also there. So you have all the players. So it was, I just can't take it seriously because you have a Congress that like that's still like figuring out how like all this stuff is really like playing into that, and then you have just some random dude from Twitter. I'm sorry, from Reddit. Trying to take him seriously, testifying. Why did you get into GameStop? Because I like the stock.
So I assume because you worked for Merrill Lynch that you were deeply into stocks.
Yeah, at a certain point. Yeah,
so I'm curious, like, because a lot of people are saying now that stocks are not valued based on what they used to be valued back in the day.
It's all speculative now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Tesla, there was an article that came out from Tesla that they needed to recall a certain amount of cars, and it was like a ridiculous amount. But that day, the stock skyrocketed.
Right.
So nothing makes sense anymore. I'm kind of curious what your take is on just the future of the stock market. Is it now that we know that you just get a collective group of people to pump into this stock.
Pump and dump, yeah.
Pump and dump?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what's your take on the future of stocks and investing in general?
Yeah, I would say that's becoming more decentralized, and Bitcoin has a lot to do with that. And I think where we're going to end up going is it's going to be 24/7 trading. It's not going to be 9 a.m. 9 to 4:30 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's going to start becoming, just all out anarchy. But I think that's good long term, because I think it's going to go from speculative, which I think is just the retail investor fighting with the Wall Street investor. That's what's creating the speculation. It's just them fighting with each other. They're not even looking at the stock. They're not looking at the battlefield, which is a stock that they're fighting on. They're just fighting. They're just trying to make GameStop go up. Who cares about The GameStop is not the story.
Yeah.
The story is the fight between the retail investor and the Wall Street guy. But what's going to happen, I think, is that once it should become 24/7, so then you get a more honest, once the war is won, they're going to start looking at the stock again. I just think this is a little short-term thing we're going through.
Who do you think's going to win the war?
Oh,
Retail
absolutely,
or-
the retail investor. If you look at anything, Bitcoin is killing it.
Bitcoin's at 54,000 now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Go with something so simple as the internet. The internet is decentralizing information.
Mm-hmm.
And before the internet, it was centralized. So if the internet won, anything that's decentralized after that's going to win. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Anything that's going to decentralize any industry will win in the long term. It's just a matter of time.
I do really hope that it becomes soon like a transparent system. Like there's none of this exactly what you're saying. The whole thing is just decentralized. Everything needs to be like exposed, and then whatever the people decide, let them decide.
Agreed.
Let the market decide.
Agreed.
Meritocracy. That's where we're headed towards, I think.
And I like the idea of the 24/7 thing.
Dude, it's nice.
I think
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a unique episode because we've got George over here, and you own
Nouri Cafe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple of businesses, and Larry and I are both foodies,
Yeah.
and George brought a little thing.
Yeah. Let's
Just a little hint to all our future guests.
We actually paid George in Bitcoin. For
Yeah,
this.
I'm so thankful.
So
Yeah. An
first off,
appreciating asset.
what kind
This
of
is just
what
an
kind of
empty
food
box.
is this?
This is consider it Middle Eastern food, consider it Mediterranean food, whatever you consider, it's good. And our main thing actually is we have a brick oven, so we make a lot of these like fresh pies that are popular in our culture. And I know a lot of your guys' viewers and followers are probably Arab as well,
Probably.
so they can appreciate this. We got za'atar pies,
pull
cheese pies.
pull it up.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Yeah.
There we
One
go.
handed. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, I mean, I put like the cheese pie on top, but we got like 7 other pies in there. There's a meat pie, there's an egg pie.
Looks freaking delicious.
Yeah, it looks awesome, and it's still warm.
It's a lot of cheese. I really like cheese.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
what
yeah.
kind of cheese is that?
It's mozzarella and feta.
Listen,
Yeah.
it could have been. You could have said anything, and I would have. It sounds delicious.
It's cottage cheese. Oh my god, it's amazing. No,
All right, I'm ready to try. We gotta try this.
We need plates.
I got plates. I got
He came
napkins.
prepared, dude.
Come on, bro.
He
This
came
is-
prepared.
I think it's my first
This is how
rodeo.
the Nouris do it.
I think it's my first rodeo. Hold
All
on.
right, go to Nouri Cafe. 10 out of 10 service.
Okay. Yeah, of course. I bring the cafe to you.
There we go.
Plates, napkins, everything.
So what's funny is I have a YouTube channel where I started it off going to different restaurants and reviewing foods and
Thank
things
you.
like that. And I haven't uploaded in a while, so this is gonna be a
Love
little
it.
interesting.
Love
Do we
it.
need any utensils or
No, you're just gonna attack.
Utensils, please.
it's not cut or
No, I did not cut it. I apologize.
It's okay.
Yeah. We're gonna just
Let's do it. Larry,
rip
go
'em.
first. Go first.
Okay.
you're gonna
take
reach
off,
through. Feel free to go down and see what you can find. Dig a little. Yeah. There's the egg pie there. There's a little pizza down there.
I'm just gonna take the top. I don't know how to do this though.
I should have cut it. Jeez.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
No, you're good. Okay.
My
so how would you wanna? I guess I can split it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. We all washed our hands
Yeah.
anyways.
It's good. I can't because of Lent, but you guys enjoy.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Let me pass it down. Yeah.
Thank you. You guys started Lent
Sure.
already?
Yeah. We started on Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know some people even started on Monday.
Are you Orthodox or Catholic?
No,
or?
Catholic. Armenian
Okay.
Catholic. Yeah.
Armenian Catholic?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I know we're usually like a week or two behind, or we follow a different calendar.
I'm just waiting for people to tell me what it is.
How is it? Did you try it already?
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
He can't even tell.
The man drove over here, so it's still good.
Ah,
It's really good.
You made
just
this
think on my
yourself?
coffee. I know how to do it myself, but thankfully I have more skilled hands to
You
do
got
that.
the staff?
Yeah. I got the staff doing it.
I mean, I was gonna say, if you made this, if you're single, ladies.
I mean, hey, listen, I can make it, but I try to use my time a little more.
It is a good date idea, like to just make.
to make pies like this.
I'll give you guys the recipe if you guys ever need it. You know.
You should do like a romantic like someone
Little-
can book you like to like make in the oven like as a date like idea.
Yeah. We've done, for Valentine's Day just passed, we did the heart-shaped pies, which
That's
is
cool.
cool. Yeah. But we have fun with it.
It's
and,
actually really good.
See?
This is at the spot. I don't
That's
have
it.
breakfast yet.
That's it. Well, we got more, bro. So pace yourself.
The thing is, this is the first time I think we were eating on the show, so it's like so complicated. The thing is, I'm gonna forget about you guys in a moment. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
We're just talking amongst ourselves.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
that's
guys.
okay.
Yeah. We gotta add value, guys.
So what's like what's like how do you beat the dynamic of because I see it all the time, especially with Egyptians, is that if I take them to an Egyptian restaurant, they swear on behalf of anything they could have made it better themselves. So how do you deal with that dynamic of dealing with that community who swear that they make it better themselves or whatever,
okay.
and you still have to tend to them, right? It's like,
listen, what tastes better, when you go, like if like your mom makes fulam demes, versus when you go to a restaurant, your mom's tastes better. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's the craftsmanship of the home.
It's the home field.
The home field.
You've had it since you were 3 years old.
Yeah.
How can I compete with that? So I tell them like homemade is always better. Like whenever I have that conversation, I'm like homemade is always better. But you come here for convenience. You don't have to get working and make it yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we can get close to as good as your home thing is, that's our whole thing.
Yeah.
My like motto, my theme is like we try to do it the home style way, the authentic way. So I try to get as close as possible to that. I don't try to do it the commercial or restaurant way. I try to make it really feel like it's homemade.
Yeah, I was about to say this is not like an Americanized take on any of this stuff.
No,
Like, this is
no.
this is the
Authentic.
to the T.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I'm sure like even you have non-Middle Easterns coming in and they appreciate that authentic style of eating. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of our American customers, they're used to that like sabra hummus or like whatever.
That stuff is so bad.
Yeah, it's like
so bad.
I think they're making it into a dessert now, like chocolate. I don't know, whatever.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
I think
insane. It's
I
insane.
actually think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Not necessarily a preference, but are you trying to reach out to the non-Middle Easterners or people who this type of food typically wouldn't be eaten?
Oh my god, major. Yeah.
How are you doing that?
I think just making them less scared about trying a new cuisine.
Okay. How do you do that?
I think the way you do it is just like me. Like I was born here. Most of my friends are American. Most of my friends, don't even like eat this food at home. So I've done a good job of learning and, growing up in a Catholic school, everyone there was white, Irish, Italian, as white as you can get, So I've had to learn just from osmosis being around them what it's like, like their perspective. So I think it's just subconscious for me at this point, how to get Americans comfortable with this kind of food, just because I know how they think, I know how they talk, I know what they like, what they don't like. And, I also put myself out there, so they have direct conversations with me and, we make it happen. This business is really like you have to talk to every customer and get the business that way. You can't just like set up this automated system and things come naturally, especially in the beginning. You have to put the work in, talk to each customer, get them comfortable, and then the word of mouth is super strong. So they tell their friends, then slowly but surely you get there.
Well, you have the brand too. The
brand
like
helps
the
a
name.
lot.
The name is literally a household name. Actually, so much of a household name. When I was watching Rami, that he mentioned the Nouris, like the show Rami on Hulu. He mentioned like going to the grocery store at Nouris. Yeah, so which is which is like.
Did you finish that show?
I
kind of stopped.
Rami, if you're watching this, your second season is like I can't even.
It's like good or bad?
No, I think your first season was better.
Okay. We actually met him. We met him in person.
Oh, no way.
We
went
met
to a
him at a
show,
comedy
yeah.
club.
Wow.
We got a photo with him before he went big. So
Awesome.
My dad tried to hire him as like a like for like
like-
to just come to one of his events, but that was right when his Hulu show like started hitting, and then like he
There's
just
too much
skyrocketed. And
controversy.
then he was too not even that. It's just like he got too famous for me. I couldn't get him anymore. But it was funny.
But similarly to Rami, the guest that we had on our last episode, who
So many Ramis,
is part of Mamari Jewelers.
You guys need more creative names.
Seriously. You guys, you are also in a family business, and there's like, so did you start the cafe, or did the cafe exist and you branched into it?
So 11 years ago, my dad took over the cafe as the tenant. So the guy managing that business, he wasn't paying his rent. My dad kicked him out. We took over. So it was a family business, from there on out. But my dad pretty much had no time for that. He had negative time for that. He barely had time for the store. So it really, unfortunately, the restaurant slowed down majorly. And we ended up just using that restaurant as a way to produce products for our supermarket. But we always had really skilled people in that kitchen, really skilled people running that place. So when I left Merrill Lynch to come back to the store, actually, let me give you a whole story here, because you guys were asking about this earlier with the show F That's Delicious with Action Bronson. So
wait, so let me add some context to that, because I was gonna ask that.
Okay, good.
So I remember a couple of years ago. So I'm familiar with the Nouris because, like I said, my mom makes me drive to Paterson to take it to that market at times.
The trek all the way there, yeah. It's crazy.
And the parking,
Yeah.
Anyways, and so I came across a YouTube video and I saw the name and I was like, is this the one from Paterson?
Right.
And I'm a big fan of Action Bronson.
Yeah.
This guy is a character. Amazing personality, really, really outgoing.
Yeah.
And he's a foodie. He's a serious foodie.
Big foodie.
And so I clicked
He's a
this
chef.
video. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a bunch of tasty video and like other things. I don't know if I'm saying the right names, but so they feature the Nouris.
Correct.
And I watched the episode.
That was a great.
I kind of
great time.
want, because you did mention there are really good stories to that. I kind of want to know, like, how were you guys approached initially, and kind of how was that process?
I'll break it all down for you. So I left Merrill Lynch January of 2018. February of 2018, 1 month in, I get an email from a producer from Vice saying, "We know about your restaurant. We want to come by."
Oh wow.
By the way, this is like by the grace of God. Like no one knew our restaurant at this time. Like it was Nouri's family restaurant. It was a corner restaurant, not doing anything. But they knew the Nouri name, so they saw we had a restaurant, came by. I told them, no problem. Let's do this thing. They come after a month, and we do this whole show. And by the way, I took a picture with all of them, and I sent it to my friends. I'm like, look, I just did this cool video, and they're like, that's Action Bronson. I'm like, oh, that's Action Bronson. I had no idea. That was Action Bronson.
That makes it better though, because then it was just natural.
I had very natural reactions to when they were there. But so at the time we did it, we were Nouri Family Restaurant. That episode came out in June. In June, we blew up because of it. And at the time, I was like, all right, we got people's attention now. We got to do something with this restaurant.
Yeah.
So that following month, July 2018, 6 months into running the family business with my dad, I changed the name to Nouri Cafe. I totally rebrand the inside of the place, remodel.
It's beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful
place.
place.
I put my heart and soul into that place, just remodeling it, redesigning it. And then, so it started out as just kind of my dad running it, but not really having the time for it. To me, noticing we had 15 minutes of fame and running with it. So we got right to work, remodeled the whole place, redid our menu, everything. And quickly, I just took over the reins because it was like I said, my dad didn't have time for it. I put it, I put it on my shoulders to run the place, and it turned out becoming my baby. And October of 2019, I became the owner, and ever since then, we've been rolling. So
the rest is history.
The rest is history. It's kind of crazy how much of an impact these videos, BuzzFeed, Vice, Munchies can make on a business. There's this one guy in, I think it's Washington Square Park, dosa. Do you know what dosa is? It's like an Indian food. And he's got this little cart, and he makes dosas. Essentially what it is it's like this pancake patty with potatoes and vegetables. It's vegan. It's vegetarian or vegan.
Yeah.
And this guy has lines. It's a little cart. It's very humble. And he's got lines people waiting for hours.
That's awesome.
We waited in that line for an hour and a half. He ended up selling out. But it's crazy the impact these videos make, and it's incredibly important that you leverage that 15 minutes of fame or whatever the case is.
You got to do something. I mean, especially it's like now, it's like every now and then we'll get someone that's like, oh, I watched a show and I'm here to try the food. But in the beginning, it was like 20, 30 customers a day.
That's
crazy.
Insane.
But now it's so, it ran out. Our fame ran out, but we did what we had to do when we had it.
Yeah.
So we made the adjustments in the business and ended up working out. And, thank God, business is good and we're continuing to grow and continuing to do different things. But it all stemmed from that producer hitting me up that February day. And that's the whole reason the cafe started, honestly. Yeah.
That's actually, it's crazy because it's like people don't even realize how, something like that can totally change your future in life. Like, like you completely shifted your career from a big moment like that. Now, do you have any advice for people? Because nowadays, I mean, we're kind of like in that same bucket here, where people are starting to get into this creator phase and they have one video that hits, or they have like a really big break, kind of like what you were having with the show, right? How do you advise people when they get that big hit to try to take advantage of that growth as much as possible? Because clearly you guys had to, make a bit, right? As much as possible to, grow the business. So what is that advice on like taking advantage of your big moment? Mina has a YouTube channel. He can have a video that gets millions of views. Like, how do you maintain that like popularity, like that 15 minutes of fame?
Yeah. Think less, work more, do anything you can. And if you do 50 things, and 10 of them work, it's better than just trying 2 things and none of them work. No. So try as like when you're in the spotlight, do as many possible like promotions, like post as much as you possibly can, create as much content as possible. And this goes to what you're doing now. Just market the hell out of yourself and something's going to stick. It's much better than being a perfectionist and not taking any risks and making sure everything comes out exactly as you want it. Try something, see what happens, and something's going to work. Yeah. Something will work.
Absolutely. I'm really into, like we kind of were talking about before starting the podcast and just introducing ourselves. This is a startup marketing company, and we're trying to grow. And in the process of learning, it's really important to learn from those who succeeded.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why we're asking you.
I would not consider that myself as someone that succeeded, but I'm trying.
Succeeding.
But thank you.
Let's say succeeding. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. There's this phrase that I absolutely love. It's not a matter of if you'll succeed. It's a matter of when.
Yeah.
So absolutely. To your point exactly, if you just consistently continue to work, it's kind of like digging, right? You're digging to find that nugget of gold. You can stop and you're like an inch away from finally.
We've all seen that meme where it's like the guy.
I love those. I love those.
I know.
And that goes exactly to your point.
Yeah.
Just keep working.
Yeah.
And speaking of keeping work,
continuing work. Yeah.
Continuing working. Thanks for helping me out there.
Gotcha.
Thanks, buddy. Do you have what are the future plans for Nouri Cafe?
It's such a weird topic for me because I'm on the daily. I'm so focused, hyper focused on what we're doing that day. I also have my month goals, my year goals, but I am looking in all honesty to automate the business as much as possible. Get us to a point where we're growing and I don't really have to be so directly involved. So I've begun creating a very small management team, 2 people. That can get this place going as good as possible. And I do have other, aspirations. I want to do other things, and some side projects I'm working on now that I hope can one day become my primary, hustles. And so, the goal is to always be involved in the cafe, but I'm looking for more. I'm looking for a new challenge. I get bored very easily.
Same.
Very easily.
I'm in the same position.
Yeah.
This podcast was because I get bored very easily. So.
Yeah, we started this because Larry was bored.
I mean, I've had an idea to do a podcast like once a week for the last year, and it's like just because I'm bored, but it's like there's so much on my plate.
Yeah.
But this is great. I mean, but the point is, it's like, I just don't want to get to the point where I'm just known as the cafe guy.
Yeah.
I want to be like, I do have entrepreneurial tendencies, but I do also like working in big spaces with a lot of thinking heads. So, I am working on a couple of things that hopefully can come into fruition this year. But, for now, it's just pedal to the metal of this cafe. That's it.
Listen, the best businesses are ones that you can, have a well-oiled machine and walk away and it's still like running itself. So, the automation aspect of it, it's obviously a smart move to think about it for the business long run.
Absolutely.
So you definitely know what you're doing. So
trying.
The question I have is, and it was similar to the last interview, is that dynamic of the family, of entering the family business. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that? Like, what can you say? Because people, I think it's not that uncommon where people have families who own businesses and they don't know whether, because obviously you have that statistic, right, that scares everyone. It's like when you have someone in the next generation take over, it's a high chance of failure.
Yep.
So what do you have for people who are in a position like that? I obviously didn't take that route, but there's others who might consider. So what do you have like an advice for that?
Yeah, well, I would tell you, my dad never lets me forget that many family businesses fail once the second generation comes in. He always talks about that, and he
That's
always
nerve-wracking.
Well, he keeps me on my toes and makes sure that I'm aware of that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of when I joined the family business, I just, it was a form of, being able to pay back, the generation before me for what they were able to give me. But I am more interested in just being able to take a shortcut where I have a business. Not everyone has a fan business, like you said.
Yeah.
We have the luxury of having one, and I took that to my advantage to be able to start making business decisions at a young age that I most certainly didn't know what I was doing. But I made those mistakes early. My dad was acting as a buffer, so I wouldn't feel the effects as intensely as someone else who didn't have that buffer. So, right now I'm using, not even now, before. Now it's just me. But before, my dad allowed me to try new things, test things in the supermarket. We redid the whole layout of the supermarket, in my first year. So that was a cool project. But, from now on, it's just me. And if anyone would want to get into family business, my advice to them would be, don't be so agreeable, but know where the line is too. Because a lot of the time, your parents will say, we did it this way for 1,000,000 years, and we made $1 million. Why would we ever change? It worked for us.
Yeah.
And you're right, it did work for you. But as you can tell, the world is changing. So a lot of the time, I had to convince my dad that what worked in 2003 isn't going to work in 2020. And, a lot of things we argued over, but it was all in the pursuit. We were both pursuing the same thing. So we weren't pursuing different destinations, but we just wanted to come at it differently. But as long as we agreed that this is what we wanted to accomplish, then the conversation always ended fine, But the point is, don't be so agreeable with the generation before you, but understand how they became successful.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, it's. I mean, you're definitely hitting it on the nail. Because that dynamic will end up happening one day or another, where you're gonna be in a position where you're gonna have to draw a line between you and your family. So, I actually want to talk more about your father, kind of how the business came to be, because it is a household name amongst the Middle Eastern community. So, kind of how did Nouri start? What was that story like?
Yeah, so Dad was a civil engineer in Syria, or at least studying to be a civil engineer in Syria. Drafted to the army, quickly bounced, got on the first plane to America.
Smart man.
Yeah, like most people do. And and then once he got here, just took any odd job he could do. He was a painter. He was washing dishes in a pancake house. He was working on average 20 hours a day, 3 jobs. It was pure insanity. He could do that. He did it for 1 year. In his first year, he did 3 jobs, 20 hours a day, no days off for the first year. And in this first year, he got his Mercedes. He got his house. Yeah. He got a house for the whole family. And they all worked together, obviously. That was a combined effort. But the point is, they got to the point where they started working for a bakery, a Venezuelan Syrian guy, Paterson Syrian Bakery. That guy ended up going back to Venezuela. And my dad and his brothers ended up taking over the store. And it became Nouri Syrian Bakery instead of Paterson Syrian Bakery. So from there on, it was a little corner bakery. They ran it like that for 10 years. And then slowly they accumulated enough business to move into a bigger space. But from the beginning to end, my dad hasn't changed at all. It's always been his hands are involved in everything. He is a micromanager. That's good and bad. It definitely lowers your ceiling in terms of how much you can grow, but everything is done to a T. So I can respect where he's coming from that. But from the beginning to end, it's been the same mentality.
And he's been in Paterson for a long time, and
43 years.
Yeah, I've been going to Paterson just for haircuts, and just from that experience.
You drive to Paterson for a haircut?
Listen, I'm very particular.
Right across from Nouri Cafe, Royal Salon.
Yeah, but
exactly.
you work in Paterson. You work in Paterson.
True.
You're in.
But it's worth it.
Listen, it is worth it. I get a good haircut. Clearly, it's loyalty. You got to stick with loyalty. But the
worst thing is leaving your barber.
Oh no, that's
they always take that personally.
That's a different type of cheating.
Yeah. Oh my, it's different type of cheating. You know that.
But the town has changed so much. So like, and I feel like you can't really tell Paterson's story without mentioning kind of like what was that like? Because Paterson back 40 years ago is nowhere near the Paterson now. So that transition, that is Nouri's have an influence within the community. Like, does it have a stance in the Paterson community or?
Yeah. I mean, before Nouri's and before Fatale's, I gotta give credit to the other guy. They are definitely our biggest competitors, but us two together have definitely rearranged the whole Middle Eastern cultural center of America. It used to be Atlantic Ave in Brooklyn, and it quickly became Paterson once Fatale's and Nouri's came to Paterson, opened their supermarkets. So definitely, I mean, everything is centered around our supermarket, thank God. But now it's really branched out into a lot of restaurants, a lot of supermarkets, a lot of jewelry stores, and everyone's eating. I like that. I like that we have more business on the street. It helps everyone. It helps everyone to have more business. I don't look at it like that's my competitor. I just look at it like that person's bringing more business into Paterson, which is helping all of us, So definitely Nouri's was one of the first movers, along with Fatale's, to get Paterson on that level. And ever since then, it's just been exponentially growing. And, if you come to Paterson now, and if you saw a picture of it 15 years ago, and Paterson gets a bad rap, guys. I mean, Paterson is a blossoming place. We're definitely not the same town, same street we were 15 years ago. A lot of people are investing, building beautiful buildings. So, Nouri's has definitely become a center point, but it's been the help of the whole community to get us to where we are now, for sure.
Are you too loyal to Paterson? Would you ever branch out? Not necessarily move, but just branch out, open up a different location at a different.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're too loyal to Paterson. Paterson is too loyal to us.
Okay.
So people come to Paterson, and Paterson has given us so much. Paterson is loyal to us in terms of they've given us so much and they've helped us so much, and that community is so. I would say that I see in the future that we open warehouses, kind of like an Amazon setup, where we distribute from different warehouses so we can cover more ground and do that grocery delivery, grocery curbside pickup. And we have our different distribution centers where we can, how Amazon does it. They don't have stores where they get that iPhone case and deliver it to you. They just have those warehouses where they just pick it up and deliver it. So that's kind of the direction I see we're going, because I don't want to open more supermarkets. I just want to get to more people. That's the goal, right? So that's how we're going to do it.
Well, because there's a lack of, and I know this because I went to San Francisco for 6 months, and it is so hard to find genuinely good Middle Eastern food in an area that does not have a long built culture for that, cuisine.
Yeah.
So there's a desperate need for that food, like across, like I'm sure, like nationwide. So I guess, like, is that like on the mind? Is that to provide that quality of food into areas that never really saw it before?
Yeah, because they don't get it now. I mean, no offense to some other places, but Paterson is where it's at. Yeah. And if you want quality Arabic food, quality Middle Eastern, Mediterranean food, you come to Paterson. And our goal is trying to get that a little wider.
So that's extremely interesting, and that's extremely ambitious, because I have a little bit of an understanding of the logistical nightmare that Amazon goes through or has, constructed in order to be able to deliver things. Like Amazon now has same-day delivery.
Right.
Or they've had same. And even sometimes like 2-hour delivery, depending on where the facility is. So now there's a facility here.
It's like you're ordering
downtown.
pizza. When you order something, it's like ordering pizza. You get it in 40 minutes. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Are you? How do you plan on are you educating yourself or expanding that, or kind of understanding that industry before you go into it? And is there fear? Like right now you're extremely stable, right?
I wouldn't say there's fear, because we're not the first to do it. Amazon's making all the mistakes for us. That's the benefit of being a second mover in any industry. You don't have to make the same mistakes as the first mover. So and it's not like we're trying to become like this big like Amazon. We're just trying to get to more people, like humbly, So I mean, along with my sister Christine, she's running the supermarket. I'm not even really in the supermarket space as much as I should be, but she's really running that place, and we definitely agree on in this sense where we want to reach more people, and the way to do it is to get into the warehouse business, meaning buying warehouses, getting our products delivered to those warehouses via our distributors, and then just having people package boxes and send them out in vans. You know what I mean? If we can hit the whole tri-state area, meaning 3-4 warehouses, that's a great start. We don't necessarily have to go national, as long as we can hit our East Coast,
Now, the type of distribution, would you want this to be the type of distribution where you're selling your product to an already established Middle Eastern store that also sells?
I don't think so.
No? You want to stay Nouri branded?
Yeah, the Nouri brand is strong.
Okay.
I think it loses value if I start, like there are distribution companies out there. And if we start doing that, we just get lost in the weeds, of all the other companies. We want to be able to separate ourselves and say, we're a grocery store, you're buying directly from us. And, and people, from Rami's show, from the documentary, people know our name. We don't want to lose that and just become a distribution company. We want to work directly with a consumer. We don't want to send to other supermarkets and just become their means of filling up their shelves. Yeah. We want to get right to the kitchen cabinets of Arabic food customers.
And there are other benefits to that, like the cost, and there's no middleman. You're cutting out the middleman. So
and we can offer products for cheaper, right? Yeah. So, it's a work in progress. So this is not something that's going to happen in the next 5 years, but it's something that it's in our horizon.
Yeah, but you've been thinking about it, which is good.
Yeah,
so
for sure. That was my main idea when I left Merrill Lynch. I wanted to do that for the business, but there's so many hurdles we still have to jump over. Yeah. So, but we're getting one at a time.
I'm actually curious about that. Like that process of like what surprised you the most entering into Nouri Cafe's business? Like what surprised you the most about that food business?
Well, what surprised me the most is that I never even wanted to do this. You know what I mean? When I first got into the business of running a restaurant, I never even wanted to run a restaurant. It just kind of happened. Yeah. And it was a great thing. But that's I wouldn't say it's my passion, but it's definitely something that I can, I'm doing pretty good at. I'm doing fine at it. But what surprised me the most was that you're more involved than you think on a daily basis. Like in terms of the operation, it's very hard to automate a restaurant business, to quality check everything. I'm such a perfectionist with our food that I really like to check Like, especially on Saturdays, Sundays. Like if I'm here now, if I was at the cafe, I'd be checking every single order before it goes out. That's just my job, and then I make sure I talk to my customers. I'm like, it's very involved.
Yeah.
It's very involved.
Is that the bottleneck?
What would you say? I don't even know what that means.
Like, is that so to grow to make sure
to
that
get
the business
through
grows?
that? Yeah.
Is that like, is it because of it's so hands-on from your end? Is
Yeah.
that really like where the business like kind of chokes?
I would say so. I would say that's where a lot of restaurants choke. Any restaurant I go to, I always see the owner walking around.
Yeah.
I always see the owner walking around, checking up on people, and it does take a lot of that person's time. They're not able to go pursue other dreams or goals they have because they have to take care of this business. Listen, it's not an excuse. It's just reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just how it is. So it's fine. I'm not complaining. No one's complaining. But I just, it's something that we have to deal with to make sure that people get the right food. People get, good quality food. It's you're feeding people. It's serious,
Yeah.
So, I'm just, you have to get people that you really trust, though. You have to get people that can manage the place for you, that you really trust, and to do things as you would like them to be done. And once you get to that point, which, it's luck. Like my manager, the way I got him was luck. Pure and simple. And that's a story. But anyways, I do have dreams outside of the cafe, and that's what's hindering me from wanting to open more cafes, because I know if I do, I'd have to get more involved. Mm-hmm. So it's a balancing act, and I'm still confused about it. What do I do? Which direction do I go? But,
It seems like you're trying to build something up to a stable, stance, and then replace yourself. And then you can go do something else, build it up, replace yourself.
I would say that's like kind of like what a serial entrepreneur does. He builds a business, exit strategy, gives it to a management team, they run it. They go from 100% equity to maybe like 20% equity. But I think that's the kind of direction I want to go in. I'm interested in that kind of space. Like Gary Vee does that too. And he's had a huge influence on my life and on how I think. But I want to I want to just be able to try like everything, I just don't want to be known as this one industry guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A man of many talents.
Zero talents, but I'd work with what I got.
So do you have something in mind of what you want to branch out to? Is there something in the works? Or is there like
There is something in the works. It's just so damn early. It would be a shame if I talked about it now and it didn't work. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah. But my whole thing is, and this kind of gives you a taste of what direction I want to go in. I want to be able to get people that think like us and have entrepreneurial tendencies to be able to come together and support each other. Because a big issue of being an entrepreneur when you're young is you tend to feel like you're on an island and no one is there really supporting you. And especially and I'm in a family business and I felt that way, and my dad's right next to me, right? He's a building right next door. So I had to struggle with that. And I know a lot of other people do. A bunch of my high school friends have started businesses. They feel the same way. So that's kind of the direction I want to go. It's not necessarily a business idea, but it's a problem I'm trying to solve. Yeah.
I mean, I totally see that. I mean, if you try to, and if you seek help, you got to pay. So it's, that community is expensive.
Exactly.
To get the right advice. I mean, the good thing about your business is that it's a, like, kind of like what Rami was explaining in the last interview. It's like, it's a happy business, right? That you're.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I think that's the beauty. Like, what is that? Like, kind of like what keeps you going is that it's like that sort of industry is like enjoyable.
Yeah.
To deal with people on.
It is enjoyable. You have to make it enjoyable, though. As the business owner, it's your job to make it interesting for the cut. You could make it some boring place where you just get your food and leave.
Yeah.
But we're selling culture too. We're selling experience. We're selling, a taste of home. So when you leave the Middle East and you come here, you do feel like you don't really fit in. The first emotion is like, this isn't home. That's the first emotion when you get off that plane. This is not home. But what we try to do is try to buffer that reaction a little bit.
Have you visited Syria?
Yeah.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I went 12 years ago.
How was it?
It was awesome. it had a huge effect on me. I was there for only 10 days, unfortunately. And then after that, the war started, so we haven't been back since. But I got to go to Turkey, Syria, Lebanon. I've been to Armenia twice. We're also Armenian. Been to Russia. Been to,
You've been to Russia?
Yeah.
Interesting. Just like tourism, going to check it out?
So side story, I used to dance in the Armenian dance group.
No way.
Shushi,
That's cool.
Yeah.
Are there any videos on YouTube?
Absolutely, there
All right,
are. You got to do some digging,
we're
but
gonna
there
attach
are.
that. We're gonna attach that to this.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. No,
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to see. No, I'm kidding. I'm proud of that, actually.
No, we're gonna show it to our entire 20 viewers.
Yeah.
No.
You know what? I love that part of my life. That was a fun time, and we got to travel the world because of it. So of course, it's something I'm proud of.
That's really cool. I would have never been able to decipher that from you.
No,
interesting.
I'm not. I don't seem like that.
Merrill
guy.
Lynch,
Yeah.
Russian dance. What was
Russian.
the type of, what was the type of dancing?
Merrill Lynch, a Russian spy. No. No.
Man of many
stop.
talents.
Yeah.
Man of many talents. There you go.
Many mediocre talents, but the point is that it was not even we weren't competing. People were booking our group to do these events, so it was cool. It was fun. It was so much fun. Yeah.
How'd you get into that? Like where'd that come from?
Oh, just friends
Okay.
that were in the group as well. Church basketball, Armenian church basketball. Hey, we're going to dance class now. What are you talking about? Bah, 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 bah.
Now, Larry and I are Egyptian. You're Armenian
Syrian, yeah.
I know that our community, for instance, like everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
Like if I was to, Larry, do you know this guy? Oh yeah, is that the guy from? Is that the same thing when it comes to your culture, Syrians and Armenians, where just everybody knows everybody?
Yeah, I mean, we're not too different, right? Egyptians, Syrians, Armenians, we're all kind of in the same bread basket here.
Yeah.
The
Bread
you can't
basket.
escape.
It's good for business.
Did you mean
too.
the bread
Everyone
basket?
knows-
Yeah. You can't escape, man. It's good and bad.
Other than business,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, this motivation that you have, right?
Yeah.
We all have like this little niche hobby or like other interests that we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm curious what that is for
Russian
you.
dancer. You're
Russian,
Russian dancer.
Russian
You guys
spy.
are just gonna keep coming
I
at my
love that.
comments today.
I love that. I love tennis. I love watching tennis. I love
Okay.
playing tennis. That's my main thing. I picked that up a few years ago. I'm a very like straightforward guy. Like I don't really have like many crazy hobbies out there. I love playing basketball. I love playing tennis. I like watching lectures on YouTube, like economics lectures. I'm a curious guy, so I'm always like listening, watching podcasts. Like I love that stuff. I like just playing sports and getting out there. But yeah.
You said podcasts?
Yeah, podcasts.
Interesting, like Anomaly Talk. That's on
I would say
Spotify,
that's
Google.
I would say that's probably my number one podcast right now.
You're being too kind.
You guys are the best.
In current events,
Yeah.
the Mars landing.
Whoa! Can you believe that?
We kind of wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
So
Whoa. Okay.
So based on your reaction, I'm kind of happy. Cause,
Yeah.
'cause-
Isn't it crazy?
Because Larry and I were discussing, and we were like, "Hey, we kind of want this this podcast and conversation in general for our guests to kind of talk about current events, like
Yeah.
hey, what's going on?" And it seems like in this day and age, something crazy is happening every week.
Yeah.
Like watching the news, if you're not watching the news every day, you're behind.
Yeah.
And so the other day, the Mars rover Perseverance. This has a very
Correct.
special place in my heart. I won't say because there's an NDA.
Cool.
But landed in Jezeros crater on Mars.
Okay.
It was a successful mission.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious. Like
So cool. I mean, we all watched The Martian. We all watched Interstellar, right?
yeah, Interstellar was a rough one.
Ah.
By the end of it, I was just exhausted.
Yeah. I think I've watched it like 4 times just to get like the general plot. Like it's like insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, and honestly, you can thank those movies partially for what we're doing now in space. I mean, it's become so mainstream, space travel, starting to inhabit like other planets. Like that's so cool, man. Like I don't know, like I think like that's where the world is going to literally physically go at a certain point. So it's good that this is like, I don't even know what are they doing up there?
Okay.
Like, I don't even know what's going on.
Are we gonna open up this can of worms? Because I can
pitching rocks,
blabber for.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, it's actually really, really cool. So first off, this rover is incredibly intelligent. It's gigantic in comparison to the last rover that was sent, which is Curiosity.
okay.
And the goal is to take high definition pictures. It landed in a crater that is expected or is that they believe was an ancient lake, and it was covered in water.
Yeah.
And so their goal is to collect samples of rock. So what's really cool is this rover has a drill, and it's going to drill into the surface of Mars.
No way.
And it's going to extract rock, and it's going to place it into these tubes, and it's going to seal the tubes. And as the rover is traveling across this crater, it's going to drop the tubes for a future mission that they're expecting 2036, something like that.
Yeah.
To retrieve them. So we're not going to have any
time. We got time.
We've got some time. But it's really cool because they think that there was microorganisms and they're hoping to find hints of these microorganisms inside the tubes and I'm just fangirling right now. I'm sorry. But
it's so cool. It's so cool.
So essentially, I know you were talking about the future. Could there be a Nouri Cafe on Jezrero's crater?
Man, if that's not the goal, we're thinking too small.
Dude,
we're
totally
thinking
agree.
way too small if that's not the goal.
But I kind of want, like, I although this was completely off topic, it kind of adds to the motivation of, hey, there is so much going on. We're making such innovations and advances in just human civilization in general. It kind of wants you to do more in your own individual like tasks. Like, you hear about this Mars landing and you're like, you know what? Nouri Cafe, how can we make this better?
How big can we
go on Mars?
How do we do more?
We got to shoot for the stars.
We got to shoot for the stars.
Shoot for the stars.
Exactly. And definitely something that we can like, push to motivate ourselves and innovate and
thanks for the fangirling.
It's a heavy
dude,
topic.
you have no idea. I can talk about this for ages. Speaking of which, we should definitely try to find a guest who's able to speak on this subject.
Please do. I want to know more about it.
Right?
Yeah.
But so back to Nouri Cafe.
Yeah.
You did mention that you and your father would, sometimes like argue or there's like a
100%
different understanding, essentially.
Oh, yeah.
What tactics would you use to try to like, convince or were there times where
I'm giving it all up right now?
Yeah, is your dad gonna watch this?
Oh, but he knows, so it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where there were times where you're just like, okay, this guy's wisdom is far superior, and he was right, and
it is far superior. Far. I will never get to his wisdom, but oh my God, I just copy his credit card and buy stuff for the store.
No way.
And yeah, are you kidding? And then it'll come in like I'd buy shelving, right? And he'd see that it's better. He'd see that whatever I would buy, he would see like I got TV menus. I never wanted to like be like, hey dad, can we get this? Like, cause I knew that from past experience, it would be like, well, we never did it that way, George. Da, 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 da. So my thing was like, all right, I already have your credit card because I'm working with all of your suppliers. I'm already working with all his suppliers anyway, so I have the business card. I bought some stuff, and it ended up working. Most of the things I would do cosmetically to the business ended up working, and he started trusting me more. And with that trust, I gained the ability to make operational decisions. So slowly but surely, it's not really a tactic. It's kind of just like
you're earning your spot. It's like it's a transition to earning your spot.
Yeah. I know a lot of other family businesses where the son or the daughter, struggles because they're not able to use their whole like creative ability in the business. But you need to just like know how to say no back to your parents. And I know it's like kind of scary to do that, but if you know what could work, because you know this world better than them, at least in terms of what's trending, where is business going, especially if you're tuned in. Like I'm super tuned in on what's going on. So if you can honestly say that you think it's a good move, try it and teach your parents to take more risks because they don't want to take risks at their age. They made their money. They don't want to lose it.
Yeah.
At our age, we have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So we're a little more like, just like a gunslinger, whatever. But try things. If it fails, good.
Learn from it.
Yeah, it better fail because that's the best way to actually move forward. You got to fail a couple times. It actually narrows the whole set of possible outcomes that can come out from your decision. So I didn't even word that well, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah. Listen, we got motivational gems in this whole episode.
That's it.
Like, what's kind of like as a closure? Like, what are you looking forward to? Like nowadays, like what aside from the business, like what are you doing in your day to day now?
Day to day, automating my business. Day to day, potentially going back for my master's degree.
That's cool.
Day to day, meeting new people like you guys and learning from people like you. And just so you guys know, I'm going to be texting y'all. I don't know if you'll text me back, but I'll be texting you guys all the time. Just learning from guys like you. And day to day, my goal is to just like shore up my business and explore more of my interests.
That's beautiful. And how are people able to like reach out to you and like what's going on with the cafe that that they can take advantage of nowadays?
Yeah, reach me. George Nouri is my my Instagram. Nouri with a Y, not an I. And then the Instagram for the cafe is nouri.cafe. And yeah, I mean, reach out to me, DM me if you want to collab on anything or do anything with me. We'll have fun with it. Or have questions about my business or even want to order something, I take $2 orders directly. So just text me anytime.
We'll link everything in the description.
We'll definitely have everything in the description.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, George, for being on the podcast. This was an absolute pleasure. Larry's been talking about you for forever. He's I wanted to bring you on, girl, yeah.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. No, this is fun. Thanks for having me. Honestly,
no, thank you. Thank you for being on, and we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Anomaly Talk podcast. Larry, do the honors, man.
Bye. Peace.